Are you ready for Bundesliga game day number 5, my friends? Let's go! Before we start, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to this channel if you want the best predictions and betting tips on YouTube. Thanks for your support. Are you interested how we did on game day number 4? Let's have a recap. Thanks to Werder Bremen, my Acca broke, unfortunately, and as I played 2 with one high-risk Acca and the other one, we made -2 in the Accas. Compared to the other channel about Bundesliga predictions, you can see he had 3 out of 4 bets right, so the Acca was a loss. And if you would have played everyone in the singles, you would have made at least 0.10 units profit, while my Asian Handicap -1 on Hoffenheim was a winner. So I had 6 bets and I made profit of 2.4 in the singles, made in total 0.4 on this game day versus -0.9 from Oddspedia, and that grows my difference to 7 units after just 4 game days. Let's go on with game day number 5 and keep the distance. First game on 5th game day between Stuttgart and Darmstadt, and complete different situation because Stuttgart has the best attacking team with 14 goals scored so far and the best scorer with Gero Sirassi, and Stuttgart is really doing well, especially at home where they scored 5 goals in each of their home games. And on the other side, Darmstadt was happy about their first win against Mönchengladbach, where they were leading 3-0. But at the end it was just a draw, and very sad that they lost a 3-0 advantage. So no chances here for Darmstadt, and on the other hand the odds on Stuttgart are ridiculous low. Never ever consider to bet on Stuttgart 1.4, not even in an Acca, as Stuttgart is not that top team which deserves to be favorite in every game, no matter that they had really good games so far. So there's no value in this. I won't bet. The only thing we can consider is both teams to score with odds of 1.75, as Darmstadt was able to score 3 goals against Mönchengladbach, which is not a bad thing, and they also had a goal in their away game at Leverkusen, and this makes me optimistic that Darmstadt can score at Stuttgart as well, and that game at Leverkusen was a draw at the first halftime. So another option can be that there will be a draw after the first halftime, which has odds of 2.6. And me personally, I won't bet on both of these bets, as I won't put my money on clear underdogs, but I also won't put my money on clear favorites with bad odds. So I don't find anything to bet in this game, and I'm just telling you that you don't make the mistake. And always keep in mind, even if you make a bet and win it, doesn't matter, it makes sense in the long run, as you might get really bad odds, and this sometimes will cost you more than it brings you in mathematical terms. We have 6 games on Saturday, and starting with not Lask versus Liverpool, this is European League, but Union Berlin against Hoffenheim. Union Berlin was playing in the Champions League against Real Madrid. They kept 0-0 a long time in the game, which would have been a really great achievement, getting a point at Madrid, but at the end they lost 1-0, unfortunately. But you know, Union Berlin is one of the best home teams in the whole Bundesliga. They lost also the last game against Leipzig, but we all know that Leipzig is a kind of a top team, while Hoffenheim is not. And you see Hoffenheim winning their last 2 games against Wolfsburg and Heidenheim. That means also Hoffenheim is improving in this year. But at the end we have still a really good home team with Union Berlin. So I expect them to win. Problem, odds of 2.0 for a team which lost the last 2 games is no option, even if it's Union Berlin with a strong home record. And yeah, betting against a team like Hoffenheim at the moment with a 2-0 streak in the last 2 games is also no option. So the only thing I would do here is going onto a draw, because we get the highest odds for a draw, 3.6. And that means in a game like this where we have no clear favorite, in my eyes, as Union Berlin is not the clear favorite, then the best thing is to go for the best odds, and draw is mostly the best odds, because a lot of people, like the ones who commented last time, wrote that yeah, they don't like the draws in football, and that is a problem or an advantage for people who are aware of draws, especially in the Bundesliga. So that means a lot of people are betting on Union Berlin. A lot of people, not so much, but also are betting on a Hoffenheim win. But a lot of people also ignore a draw. But a draw is likely for 30 to 40% in one or the other game. And in this game, a draw might be realistic in 40% of the cases. That means we should get odds around 2.5, but we get way better odds. So this is kind of yeah, a way too high odd on a draw, and that is called value, and I like the draw here. And the other thing, you might think that both teams to score or over 2.5 goals is an option. I really like this also because I think Union Berlin should score at home twice and Hoffenheim should score away at least once, so we would have 2-1, 2-2 at the end, and odds of 1.8 in the Bundesliga for over 2.5 goals is always kind of a no-brainer, because Bundesliga is a very high-scoring league where you can expect in almost every game more than 2.5 goals. Now we're getting to the team you are trusting the less in the Bundesliga, and me too, because this is Borussia Dortmund. No matter that they won the last game against Freiburg, which was really close despite of a 4-2 victory at the end, but Freiburg had a red card within the last minutes and Dortmund scored 2 goals after the 90th minutes. And they also had a Champions League game now at Paris where they were not playing really good in my eyes. I didn't like what they were doing. That was really not good, and I think Paris was also not really good. And after all, Dortmund didn't score there, and now they have a tough game, another tough game against another tough opponent who has won 3 or 4 games in the Bundesliga. Against not the best opponents, but still Wolfsburg is doing a good season. And yeah, that's why Dortmund might have problems in this game as well. No option betting on a Dortmund win. I know they are one of the best home teams, the best home team indeed last season. But anyway, too dangerous betting on Dortmund in these times, and they first have to show me about 3 to 5 games that they are really good, and the last 4 games in the Bundesliga and the last 5 games, including the game against Paris, were not really good. That's why I don't trust them, and I don't see any good odds here, because both teams to score is not worth it, because 1.4 is way too bad. And all other things makes no sense. If you believe Wolfsburg is able to make a point, okay, but I won't bet on this, because as we know, Dortmund has not lost any of their last 4 Bundesliga games, and also they are really strong at home. So the probability is high enough that Dortmund is not losing this game, but yeah, it's too dangerous to bet on them because they might fuck it up again, and that's why I prefer other bets. Let's see if there's something in Gladbach versus Leipzig. Gladbach is doing a really bad season, and they would have problems in this season to not be relegated if they play like that. They were 3-0 behind against Darmstadt. At the end they were so lucky to get these 1 point and these 3 goals. At least Gladbach is scoring a lot of goals, as you see at their home game against Bayern Munich. They were leading 1-0, which is great. And they scored 4 goals against Mönchengladbach. So the goal scoring is okay, but conceding a lot of goals is also a problem at Gladbach. Also not really playing good. Against Leipzig, this can be a huge problem, as Leipzig is a high-scoring team. As you see, at least 2 goals here, but in the last 3 games they scored at least 3 times, which is not a surprise, as you see their awesome players in the attacking squad and in the whole team. No matter who is playing there, they have 15 to 17 high-class players, which might be the best players in the whole Gladbach team, and that's why I expect for sure, like the bookmakers say, win for Leipzig. The odds on Leipzig are way too bad. As you've seen, that Gladbach lost only 1-2 against Bayern Munich, and they were number 6 in the standings last season, in the away standings. So let's have a look at the odds on both teams to score. Also not attractive, 1.5, and also on over 2.5 goals with 1.4. No option for me, unfortunately. What I can imagine is that Leipzig will win, and combining this with over 2.5 goals, maybe we get odds over 2.2 or something like that. This can be an interesting bet, as I have confident that Leipzig will be the winner in this game. But to be honest, I only bet on games where both teams have odds above 2, and that makes it to an interesting thing betting on draws, and also an interesting thing betting on double chance on one side, which gives you about 2/3 of the correct result. And in this situation I have a clear favorite bet, because we have about 25% advantage for home teams in the Bundesliga. First point, which speaks for Augsburg. The second point is that Augsburg is a really good home team. They did not so bad in their home games. They had 2 draws against Bochum and against Mönchengladbach. A lot of goals, keep that in mind. They also had a friendly game against Ajax Amsterdam at home, which they won, and they made some really good results against Bayern Munich and Leipzig and Dortmund, I think, in the last season, also at home. So, and the last thing also is that Mainz is not really good at the moment. To be honest, they are one of the worst teams, losing 4-0 at Bremen and 1-4 against Union Berlin. 2 games away, always conceded 4 goals, and these points lead to a clear value on Augsburg. If we go on Augsburg draw no bet, we get attractive odds of 1.8, and this is my bet for this game day, because it's about 70 to 80% that Augsburg is not losing the game, and if there's a draw we get the money back. And yeah, at the end we also can directly bet on a draw, because the odds of 3.5 are worth it to risk 1 unit. And games like that, where the odds are almost equal on the home team and then the away team, are, yeah, perfect to bet on draws. So what do you think? Write your pick for that in the comments, and if you agree, or are you aware that Mainz will strike back? Next game, Bayern Munich against Bochum, also on Saturday at 15:30 or 3 p.m. 3:30 p.m. And we have for sure a clear favorite, Bayern Munich here. If we have such a clear favorite, you have to ask two questions. Is it worth to bet on the underdog, the bad team Bochum? I won't say that this is a good idea. And the other one could be, is there a chance that the underdog might score a goal, as we can take it for sure that the favorite shall score a goal, or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, you know. At the last 2 games, or within the last 3 games, Bayern won 2 times with 7-0 against Bochum. So there were a lot of goals in these games between the 2 teams. And in comparison with the really bad odds on over 2.5, bet on both teams to score with 1.8 is really awesome, because you've seen Bayern Munich conceding goals against almost every team, because it's not in their interest to defend. As you see, 3 goals against Manchester, 2 really bad goals against Leverkusen, 1 free kick, 1 penalty. So very lucky Leverkusen here. Also conceding a goal against Augsburg and Gladbach. So should also be possible for Bochum to score a goal, because I expect Bayern to win this game pretty high. And if Bayern scores 4 to 5 goals, they shouldn't be interested in defending that hard, and at the end Bochum might get a chance to score here. So 1.8 on this, it's worth for me, but for sure not the best bet, betting on a huge underdog like Bochum. The top game of the game day on Saturday evening is Bremen versus Cologne. Not really a top game, as we have number 12 in the standings versus number 16. And this is not really an attractive game, especially that Bremen lost their last game at Heidenheim 4-2, which costs me my Acca, and I hope not a lot of your money, but after the 4-0 at home against Mainz, I expected way more than a loss at Heidenheim. A draw would be okay, but no loss here. On the other hand, Cologne is only with 1 point so far. They collected 1 point against Frankfurt. They also are able to collect 1 point here for sure. But again, I was impressed of the Bremen game against Mainz at home, and so I think Bremen should also be able to beat Cologne, and that's why I like the 1.8 more on the home team, as we have the same odds for draw no bet home and away team. But as I said before, the home team in the Bundesliga and in almost every other league has a statistically advantage of 20% or something like that. And if we have clear equal odds, it's in my eyes mostly the best thing to bet on the home team. And also Cologne is so weak that we can't trust them to make a point at Bremen, and so I like this very much. Let's have a look at the 2 games on Sunday, including the leader of the Bundesliga after 4 game days, which was able to score twice against Bayern Munich and to make a point at Munich. Bayer Leverkusen, really attractive games so far with their team. Maybe the most attractive team in the Bundesliga so far. And on the other hand, also a very attractive team with Heidenheim. They made their first victory in the Bundesliga ever, winning 4-2 against Bremen, and scoring 4 goals against Bremen is really good. And before, they also had a really impressive point away against Dortmund 2-2, scoring twice again. 2-3 against Hoffenheim at home was also close to a win. So Heidenheim is really better than I expected in the Bundesliga, because they are a really good team, a really good chemistry. That's why they managed to go up in first league. And one of my favorite Heidenheim players so far, Jan-Niklas Beste, the one with the beard, is really doing great things, and I expect him to go for a lot of money after this season to maybe Leverkusen, Dortmund or Bayern or even Leipzig. And I think he's worth at least 20 millions, and because he's a perfect player in every circumstances. So enough fanboy, now let's have a look at the odds. Because Leverkusen is the huge favorite, no surprise, but no bet worth at all, because yeah, you can't win a lot and the risk is too high, and I don't like these bets. And the other thing is, you can maybe bet on both teams to score, because Heidenheim had really good games. On the other hand, also Darmstadt, the second new team in the league, was able to score at Leverkusen. And after the first half in this game, we had a 1-1. And that means for me that Heidenheim is way better than Darmstadt. They should also score. And these odds on 1.75 are, yeah, for me, good enough to bet on it, and hope that Heidenheim will make a goal against Leverkusen, and maybe even more and surprise, but I won't bet on any surprisings here. And the last game on this game day between two F teams, Frankfurt versus Freiburg. Being favorite with 2.0 is a way too low odd for Frankfurt, I think. We know Frankfurt has not lost a game so far out of 4, but they only managed to win 1 game at the first game day. So they had 3 1-1 draws in a row. Freiburg was not that happy in the last 2 games. You know, they lost very high against Stuttgart. This was, yeah, kind of unexpected. And they were very unhappy, or they had bad luck against Dortmund, where this was a 2-1, and then Dortmund came back after the red card and scored twice in the extra time. So yeah, that is not that bad, this result against a Champions League team like Dortmund. So now they had to play in the Europa League, and we don't know if they are so fit, and I expect another draw here to make it short, as there are really no reasons to bet on Frankfurt at the moment. And yeah, also pretty no reasons to bet on Freiburg, but to bet on a draw gives us really attractive odds of 3.6. And that's my bet on this game, and at the end I expect a 1-1 again. And yeah, you will see it in my sum up. Here are my correct score predictions. Yeah, I think Stuttgart is winning at home 3-1, and both teams to score. Union Berlin, Hoffenheim 1-1, over 2.5 goals. Dortmund 2-1 against Wolfsburg, Gladbach, Leipzig 1-3, Augsburg, Mainz 1-1, Asian Handicap on Augsburg, Asian Handicap 0 for sure. And Bayern for 5-2 against Bochum, both teams to score here. Bremen, Cologne 1-0, Asian Handicap on Bremen. Leverkusen, Heidenheim 3-2, sorry. 3-2, both teams to score, 1.75, and Frankfurt Freiburg 1-1 at odds for a X with 3.6. And now we're getting to my Acca. And I'm going for the home teams, and I decided to give Dortmund really a chance that they don't lose against Wolfsburg at home. and the odds for that are 1.35, which is not good. Altogether, Bremen, Augsburg, Dortmund not losing at home would be odds of 4.37, and the riskier one with Asian Handicap -1, so all three have to win, has odds of 36.9, so that's it. What do you think? Post your best bets in the comments, and maybe we find another diamond. And I wish you a good weekend. All the best. See you next time. Before we start, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to this channel if you want the best predictions and betting tips on YouTube. Thanks for your support.